Well, I want to ask you, I wanted to do this episode because I'm curious of your journey. I mean, back in the early 1900s when you started, no, I'm joking. No, but seriously,
the car.
though,
What was it like to ride horses?
no, just your journey. Like, I mean, when did you first find out you had a passion for craft, and like, what put you on this path to be where you are today? Like, go back to the earliest memory of like.
We've had Gary on, we've had Dan on, we've had Eric on, we've had all these guys on, and they just kind of walk us through how they got to where they are today. So let's start there, and then we'll kind of continue on.
It's a good question. I remember.
It is when he asks it.
I remember when I was at North Bennett Street and I was looking at a molding, and I looked at the molding and it kind of stopped, and I said, "That is so beautiful," right? That was the first. If you were going to say when did passion for craft start, that's when it started. When I was at North Bennett Street.
Do you remember what molding it was?
Yeah, it was in a little OG molding. That was kind of the tail end or the front end of a casing, and so.
How did you know you wanted to go to North Bennett Street, though?
Well, I'll get there. Okay. The North Bennett Street is really has made my career. It's what reason, God willing, Jackson, when he's done at K-Life, goes to North Bennett Street. It's just made my career. It changed everything. And so, but the deal is that I went to a competitive all-boys school in Dallas called St. Mark's, and I was a middling student. I was my brother was really much smarter than me. He had gotten into that school, and I think they just figured I'd be smart because he was smart, and I really wasn't a student. I just didn't like it, and I liked art class more. I liked there was an industrial arts class, a woodworking class. I did that. I didn't love it at the time. I think the teacher was too rigid.
That's good to hear. I hate woodworking now.
And so I built a stereo cabinet when I was there. When I was in that industrial arts class. So I know I took those classes with much more interest. I was, so even early on, I knew I wasn't a student. And when I went to college, I kept trying to go into the business classes because I was like, I know I'm probably going to end up in business. But I'd go to an economics class and I'm just like, oh my gosh, debits and credits and just, wait, which one's which? And it just, I literally would go. I was a history and English major. I was a history major for the majority of the time, then picked up the English major later. But I'd go back and take an exam. I go, I know I'm getting into business, but I just can't stand these classes. Then I'd leave and go back and finish my history degree. And so my whole deal was when we were getting out, I just didn't want to wear a suit. I didn't want to go to the cubicle. I didn't want to do that. And it was just like, that was what, was in my back of my mind. So a buddy of mine had a handyman business in college, Stephen Davis. And we were really working for tools because you remember the old Makita 9-volt with the long, thin 9-volt trigger handle?
That was the
first
drill, right?
Yeah. That's what was the goal, right?
Yeah.
We just I want my own Makita cordless battery powered drill. And because Steven had one and I wanted one. So we put a ad in the Penny Saver, Thrifty Penny or Thrifty Saver, a local thing, and this lady had us build a brick wall, a little brick planter. We ended up, doing a little bit of trim work. There was the sororities on campus. There was a homecoming parade. We would build floats for them. So we were taking old cars and torching the top off the car so that we could build a metal frame to it, weld a metal frame to it, and then drive it through the parade. And so they had budgets that were probably, I don't know, $5,000, and we were, working for nothing just because we got to weld stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because we got to, do stuff we'd seen in the movies.